Hey, everybody.
Pensé que ibas a decir, ¡Ey! ¿Qué está
pasando? No, then he sues me for copyright.
Yeah. Trademark. That's my trademark.
Yeah. Hey, it's mío. Get lucky. How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to another Wednesday of TLU. Let's talk about it. My name is John, and this is my wife, Ash Martinez Rosado. And
okay.
Yeah, my wife. See?
Yeah.
Right there's my wife. Just I'm showing off. I'm showing off that we're together, you know.
Okay.
Fine. Yes,
fine.
guys. Welcome to another TLU. It's been a while since we've done one. Naturally, because we've been on vacation for the past almost month. And hey, ¿qué está pasando?
Hey, azúcar.
How's it going?
Hi, Bambi.
It's Sparrow and Bambi.
Bambi. What is up? Welcome.
Guys, remember if you're already subscribed, sorry, we redo it on StreamYards. This doesn't allow us to actually put the subscribers entrance. It's still complicated. And they actually need to update that because it will be more interactive. And we honestly didn't have the time to see if we can do exactly what we do here on TLU in Stream Labs because we were on vacation for almost a month. So like we weren't streaming and I wasn't even playing like that. So it was a lot. I mean, we were... Stay vacation. We went to Washington D.C. and then we went to Florida.
Yes.
So you know, thank you. Hey,
bendición.
Welcome. But yeah, we're kind of chilling and we're excited also because. We want to talk about a lot of movies, but we only put like 3 because we saw a lot of stuff. Stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, we this is what we've seen so far, and we kind of changed up the format of the program today, so it's going to be a little different than what you guys are used to seeing, and it's something new that we're trying. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, we want to make it more, talk. I mean, we do, but we want to make it less formal news. And we want to make it more conversational. And we're going to try other things later on, but that requires, to adjust it and make it how we want. The extra camera and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's like, no diga nada. We're trying new things.
We are trying.
That's the point.
That is the point. And another window opened up here. What the hell? Anyway, okay, I closed it. But yeah, azúcar distinguido más. Estamos ready.
Ready.
Also, if you didn't notice, estamos aquí en camisilla. This is first time ever.
Ya va.
First time ever. Ya tú sabes.
Pues como estaba diciendo.
Oh, hey.
Cuando hay guille, yo lo quito rapidito. Cuando hay guille, eso se quita rápido, papá.
Es que it's hot. It's hot here. What degrees do we have here? Because
it's like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's 82 degrees.
Ay, Dios mío.
Yeah, it's 82 degrees.
It's hot
over here. It's hot.
I'm at a point where I don't know what to do with my hair. My hair is really long, and I really love it. Spider Bobo, bendición.
Hola, bendición.
¿Cómo están?
¿Qué la que hay?
But yeah, my hair is really long because I grew it out when the whole COVID situation was happening, but I don't know what to do with my hair now. It's literally in a bun, and I think it's going to stay in a bun for the whole month. Porque just the thought of me just sitting down and straightening my hair, pasándome la plancha, me dan ganas de llorar. No puedo.
No. Yes, that is something that we have to Y yo le dije, mira, don't do it. Just make a bun, leave it like that, and you know that's what's.
Tengo un micrófono aquí y un micrófono aquí.
Testing, 1, 2,
Sí,
testing.
todo el mundo me hacía hello.
Can you hear me? Okay,
yeah.
I can hear you very well. Okay, but yeah, that's what we're doing. Bambi here, breaking news, Ultima Hora. I think Jurassic World Dominion preview will be showing if you go watch Fast and Furious 9 only on IMAX. That's very interesting. Yes.
I have no choice because John wants to see Fast and Furious 9 y yo lo voy a complacer porque that's la complicidad, ¿verdad?
Pero es que mira lo que pasa con Fast and Furious.
Mira, cuéntame.
Mira lo que pasa. I gave in to the fact that, look, if they're making money, they're gonna do it anyways.
That's an interesting. Oh yeah.
So I was watching while we were on vacation. I didn't fully watch the entire movie because it was sporadical and it popped on when we were watching TV over there in Florida, and it was Hobbs and Shaw. And when I looked at it, I'm like, man, this is stupid fun. I know that the script might be a little bit corny at sometimes, and but it's stupid fun. It's fun. And then I don't know. I just want to watch it.
You don't even know what to say.
I love The
Rock.
I love Jason Statham. I love and
que conste, I'm saying it here. I'm watching this movie because John wants to go see it. I don't like Fast and the Furious.
But here's the thing, sorry. I gotta say it like that.
Yo sé que hacen chavo, pero
I gotta say it like that porque cuando yo sé que en película ya tú sabes, es una porquería. Pero because John is in the movie, I'm gonna go watch it. So that's what we're working on. So I gotta whatever I get. Starting off, I can't be picky con eso porque.
El punto es que this franchise has its audience. Like it's going for 11 movies or 10. I think they're 10. I think 10. The 10th is going to be the last one.
10 is on space. 10 is on space.
Pero Hobbs and Shaw, they're going to have their own universe, so it's going to continue, anyways. So.
Mira
Hashtag celo tuyo.
Bro, bueno, yo me crié alrededor de Villa España, Vista Hermosa.
Ay, bendito.
I mean, what do you want me to say?
Eres un caco de... Oye, me gusta eso. Bueno, yo creo que soy un caco...
Esta es una yard de closet.
Yo soy una yard de closet. Si estás en casa.
Una yard de closet.
Pero espérate, pero old school reggaeton, no vengas con eso de ese reggaeton de ahora, porque eso no.
Te paras a culiar como estaban culiando estas tipas en el San Juan, en el video en el traje aquella, perdiéndole a todo el mundo ahí. ¿Qué le pasa a estas locas? It's crazy.
Ay, señor.
No, man, it was crazy what was going on right there. But
yeah.
Gente, thank you for being here, honestly. Like Ash said earlier, I don't know if you guys caught it, but el formato of TLU is going to change a little bit, but it's going to be more open to conversation. It's more open to anything. It could be about aliens. It could be about a rat. It could be about anything. We're going to talk about, obviously, the things that are more important, I guess, than that. But we want to make it like a real podcast, and we want to share with you guys, experiences that we've had or anything that comes into the topic. So we're going to keep news to a minimum, and then we're going to continue and anything that develops into a discussion, we'll do it. And then, it's just to try and make everybody part of it and then make it more friendlier.
Yeah, we're trying new things. We've had a couple of ideas, and why not make TLU Let's Talk About It to literally talk about it? So
to literally talk about it, and that's what we want.
So I'm gonna start really quick because I usually talk about what's been happening with the Legacy universe. So like John was saying, we were on vacation, so we have streamed very on and off before we went to Florida, and we just came back. But so far, what we've been doing is we are still playing Resident Evil on our Twitch channel, and this Friday we are actually going to play Cuphead on Twitch. We haven't played Cuphead in a really long time. We usually do it on Sundays, but we changed the schedule this week a little bit so we can include Cuphead in the schedule. We want to change the games like every week to make it a little bit more interesting for everybody. And yeah, we're back on Friday with Cuphead. That's going to be after Reload. So we're going to do the PRCC Reload at 7, from 7 to 8. And then we will jump here on Twitch, on our Twitch channel, to play Cuphead. But I wanted to ask you, John, we've been playing Resident Evil for a couple of weeks now. How has it been for you? What are your thoughts on the game, like so far?
Well, Resident Evil for me has been It's been a doozy. It's been a doozy. It's been a great experience. I really love the game. I really enjoy this game a lot. Oh boy, do I have a story for you too.
Añadido.
Yellow.
Yeah. Cuéntame.
But yeah, I've been enjoying the game. I've been enjoying a lot of the game, and then the one downer for me was okay. This was not a downer. It was more of this is the problem when something is hyped too much and it's our own fault. In this case, I didn't hype it. And the world did, but it ended fast. And it was Lady Demetrius.
Yeah, I agree.
They made so much of a big deal of this woman. The company didn't do it. It was the people. And when the people did it, the company said, oh, you like her? So let me push a little bit more images. Let me push a little bit more promotion with her, you know? And people went crazy for it. Like she was going to be the biggest and baddest villain. No. She dies.
I was very disappointed.
The first time around.
Yeah, she's the first boss that you get. Yeah, I was very disappointed. I think she had we haven't seen the rest of the bosses. I think there's 2 left, and we finished the game because there's 4. But I think she had the potential to not be at the beginning and be maybe towards the middle. I would have done the dollhouse maybe at the beginning with that ugly, disgusting baby that we.
But here's the thing. But again, it's not about because the game itself is fine. Mm-hmm. It was because of the hype that we prefer this right now. Because if the hype was somebody else, it might have been different. Honestly, the hype was so focused on Lady Demetrius by the fans, by the gamers, by the players, that by the time that we played the game and she's the first one to go, it's like, oh, shit. So what now? Yeah. There are more bad guys. There literally are more bad guys and worse.
This last one with the baby, I was like,
Jesus Christ.
And I had to play. So usually I don't like, I've realized playing these games that I don't like dolls. Like I always knew it, but it came back to me. And I was like, oh, I
don't like Annabelle. You don't like Annabelle.
I don't like Annabelle. Chucky's the only one that I'm just like, okay, I can let you pass.
I getcha.
But yeah, last time we played, we were in this house with a doll, but then the doll was controlled by this woman, and then this fetus. She made it appear and you thought you were seeing a fetus, but it wasn't really a fetus, and it was following you and making baby noises and crying, and I was just like,
the scariest shit.
Can this get any worse? One of the scariest
shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the noises and
and the dolls were like, look, the dolls were like
it's like the crazier they get is how close it's getting for you to get your ass whooped.
The dolls were like shaking and they had like bugs inside them, and it was it's
like going crazy.
It was weird. But yeah, I agree on what you're saying. I feel that at the beginning I liked the story of the game, but I felt kind of confused because I felt that the game was doing a little bit too much. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa!
Hi!
What is that? Cine PR! Wow! Wow!
Oh my God!
How are you guys doing? ¿Quién es este Magdiel? Or is this Chris? Mag? What's up, Maggie?
How
you doing?
What's up?
Y bienvenidos. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, thank
bienvenidos a todos.
Thanks to everybody who's here. What is up?
Everybody's here.
Es Mag.
¿Cómo estás, Mag? Okay.
How are you? Estamos aquí. We're talking about this week on the Legacy Universe, but we're talking about Resident Evil because that's what we're playing. And we're just talking about the game and the story. Pero I was saying that at first I was kind of confused because I felt that the story was doing too much, and I was just I I didn't understand the direction. There was just too much going on with like the Wolfman and then the village, and then you get into the house. And then when we got into the first house with the vampire lady, that's when I said, okay, the story is following like a linear. But at first I was so confused with like the girl who had her father, and then the stupid thing that he did with the car, and she died at the end. I was just like, okay, like, are we good? So, but so far, it's been my favorite one. So far, I think we'll see how it ends.
Sí, mano. Todo bien ustedes. Sí, it's messy in the beginning. Yeah,
a
little bit messy.
Okay. Yo dije, because when that happens to me, I'm just like, is it me or is it was too all over the place? In my opinion.
But like I said, I still enjoy the game. We're still, I think, close to halfway through on stream. But again, the reason why that's the only thing that it really upset me. But it wasn't really upsetting because of what the game is done on the Lady Demetrius. For those who actually kicked in, I was telling earlier that the only thing that I was kind of disappointed in, but it wasn't because of the game. It was because the people and the fandom, the gamers created that hype so much that it destroyed that for themselves. Whereas Lady Demetrius, they saw Lady Demetrius, or is this vampire that's like 10 feet tall, and because, you know, Capcom saw the reaction for this, they started pushing her. But the game was already done. And when you find out that she's the first boss to go, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it honestly wasn't Capcom's fault because the game was already made. It was people hyping up this woman so much. So
it's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. But I'm really enjoying Resident Evil. And it's so far, it's a great game. I agree. Yeah. It's still in the peak. I know people want to see Resident Evil in 3D, third-person form, and I get it. But you know, it's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
Is there going to be another third-person Resident Evil? Maybe in the future. But right now, these games have been having success.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, we'll see. So we are currently playing that on our Twitch channel. It's usually Mondays and Saturdays, but we always post our schedule on all of our social media on Sundays. So if you want to check out some Resident Evil and, you know, laugh at us, because we're both screaming at this game. Like, there's not a balance. We're both equally as terrified.
Exist. I know.
Yeah. So yeah, we're playing it on Twitch, and I was mentioning before that this week we're going to go back to Cuphead. We're actually going to play it on Friday. After the PRCC reload, we're going to jump from their Twitch to our Twitch, and we're going to play Cuphead for a little while on this Friday. And don't forget that if you guys want to rep your Legacy Universe merchandise, you can visit tinyurl.com/TLU merch, where you can get some awesome t-shirts. We have From Our Land to the Universe collection with our signature astronaut and the Puerto Rican, Dominican, and United States flag. We have a Legacy Masters design done by Saturn_Strawberry. And we have a Throw It Into the Universe t-shirt available for you guys. And if you are fans of Legacy Masters, we have t-shirts, tank tops, because it's getting hot, hoodies, and mugs for you guys. So don't forget to visit the link that you see on this page if you want to rep your universe pride across the world. I don't know. If you want to wear our merch, if you want to support,
yes,
with our merch.
Yeah. So before we jump into the next topic, Cinepera says here, would you prefer before Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, or Resident Evil 4 remake? Oh my goodness!
I think you're gonna have to answer this question, because I haven't played. I've played Resident Evil 5. I've seen you play the second one and the third one, but I haven't played this one. Any of these two. So
I don't know.
That's gonna be a question for John. And I've seen the first one too.
I'm looking at Code Veronica right now, because it's been a while. And the most recent that I played out of those two is actually Resident Evil 4.
I would say do Resident Evil 4, since they're already doing it in like order, right? Would that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, if it's based off of that, then do Resident Evil 4. But in my personal opinion, I would do Resident Evil Code Veronica, Only reason being is because Resident Evil 4 is actually more in tune to a little bit of a modern view, and we can see the game perfectly fine. The story can flow. You know, the cinematics are not as outdated as the first one, the second one, and the third one were, because they were from PlayStation 1. So Code Veronica would be the other one, just because, you know, it came out in a HD collection already in PlayStation 3, and it was in the Dreamcast, and it's, you know, PlayStation 2, and it came out at the same time as well. But I think Code Veronica will be a little bit of a, you know, segue out of that routine. So I would go with Code Veronica. I would go with Code Veronica.
I mean, either, if they make these remakes, I would want either or, because I haven't played these two, so I think it would be really cool. And I love the remake. I love the remastered one. Is it remastered or remake? I was
remake. Remastered is the same game but updated that can be playable in the next console. Remake is fully, completely remade the game from the ground up. You can put the same story, add on new graphics, new everything. But when you do remastered, is like you pretty much code the game so it can be playable on the next one, and higher definition.
Okay,
but that's
so kind of like what they're doing with the PS4 games that are coming to PS5 in a way.
Yeah. Right. And yes, yeah, exactly. So yes, I agree with you. Exactly. Code Veronica needs to remake more than Ya tú sabes, Mag.
Ya tú sabes.
Ya tú sabes. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah.
So in the meantime,
that's gonna be all for what we've done in the Legacy universe, talking about our Resident Evil experience. But we're gonna jump into our universes, but we're gonna do different stuff today. So I'm gonna let John start with this one, with his section.
Well, pretty much this is kind of yours, because this Fortnite launched Season 7 Battle Pass Invasion. And this, honestly, this is something that you can really talk about, because you're playing Fortnite more than I. And you kind of enjoyed this. And if you guys don't see it, Superman is on the right side, right below the O-N.
I wanted to put this because I was not very interested in this new battle pass, and I went in. I had a couple of V-Bucks left, so I was like, I'm just gonna get the battle pass, and it's really, really cool. So basically, the theme of this battle pass is alien invasion on the island, and you have several sections where you have like you know, the ships. How do you call that in English? Lo Omni.
No, UFO.
Ovni? Oh, the UFOs. Yes. So you have the UFOs flying in several parts of the island with what they call trespassers, and you have the option to actually shoot at the UFO ships and then kill the trespasser, or you can kill the trespasser and actually take over the UFO ship, and you can travel through the different islands, and that gives you like more of an advantage in a way. Also, something interesting that they did was that the battle pass per se, the format was changed. So before, if you wanted to get a certain character or gears or emotes, you had to reach a level, and on every level that you reached, you would get one of those things. But here, everything is divided by 10 pages, and you get battle stars. So basically, whenever you reach a certain level, you get a certain amount of battle stars, and then you can start spending your battle stars on the thing that you want, whether it be a character, an emote, a loading screen, and all that. And then once you get 3 to 4 items, it actually jumps into the next page. If you want to get all 10 pages with all of the characters and their respective gears, you have to get I think it's 500 battle stars. So that's something that's new. You don't necessarily get an item when you reach a certain level. You start unlocking things in any order that you want. in the battle pass page for this characters. Also, I want to say that I like the fact that this season most of the characters that are presented in Fortnite are original characters, except for Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, which he is actually the last on the last page to get, and he looks really cool. I don't watch Rick and Morty, but I know that John's sister and her boyfriend, they are huge fans, so they were going crazy about this. And Superman is actually going to be available in 64 days, and you can get Clark Kent. You can get him as Clark Kent, or you can get him as Clark Kent changing into Superman. And your backpack is actually the Daily Planet,
which is amazing how he changes.
Yeah,
it's like the old Superman, like from Christopher Reeves. I think that was his name. Hola, mi niño, Dios lo bendiga. ¡Hey!
Bendición, tu abuelita
Bendición.
Chula. Bendición.
Bendición, abuela.
¿Está activa?
Esa es mi abuela, mi gente. Ahí.
Abuela Tere, abuela Tere.
Abuela Tere. Tu abuelita chula.
Chula.
Abuela, estamos hablando aquí de videojuegos, después vamos a hablar de películas.
Sí.
But
yeah, so that's like in terms of the battle pass. In terms of guns, there are like 3 or 4 different guns. They have like alien-like powers, or lasers and fun stuff. Also, I discovered something today. So on the season 6, there were actually a couple of characters that you had to visit on each island, talk to them, and you can get like a quest. In this one, there are certain characters, but they're payphones, not payphones, but there's like payphones available. And when you pass through a payphone, it starts like ringing, and you pick up the call, and it's the character or different characters giving you different quests, which I discovered that today, and I thought that was really cool. So I think this battle pass is really interactive. I like the format. It is available up until September because you guys have to get battle stars. It's not going to be that easy to get all of the gears and all of the different characters. And I've quite enjoyed playing this season. So I'm going to keep playing. It's been really fun.
Yeah. Like I told Ash, I haven't been playing Fortnite in a while. And there has been moments where I have opportunities to actually get certain characters. But again, it's like anything. You're not going to waste money on something that you really are not going to use. Unless it's a collectible item, like it's for collection, so you leave it there and it has value for just staying there. But in this case, because I really don't play Fortnite as well, every time she actually uses V-Bucks and buys something in the game itself, this happened the other day. I came into an agreement with her that, okay, so when we play together, I'll play my account. But in the meantime, if we're going to play alone, I'll just play in your account, and I'll help you level up and get all the characters that you need. Because I do enjoy Fortnite, but in reality is that I play a lot of MLB more than that. And I even play like games on my phone, like mobile games, because I'm also, I'm going to work and I only have so much time to play some games, and my vein always is like bursting to play MLB so much that I even trying to force myself to find some time to actually watch movies and TV shows.
Yep.
So it's kind of yeah. I'm sorry. I know my flaws.
Tengo que pillarlo ahí. He has to get home and the movie has to be on the screen, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna sit down and play." And I'm like,
"Yes,
yeah, just play the movie."
It literally needs to be. Tiene que estar ahí plasmada la película. Yep. It has to be right there para yo sentarme y verla, because if not, you will lose me.
Exactly.
Guys, I am not kidding. It takes a lot for me to stop playing MLB and say, "Do you want to watch something?"
Unless the show is really good.
Unless it's really good.
Because we're going to talk about a Netflix series today that we've been watching, and it's the only show that John's like, "I'm going to stop playing in like 20 minutes. Do you want to watch this show?" And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Which, by the way, do you want to talk about that one first, or do you want to talk about the one that's already first there?
No, yeah, I put them in the order that we saw them, so
Okay, so
it would be a little bit easier.
let's jump right into it. All right, so we're gonna jump
Yeah.
into the movie and TV universe right now, and we're gonna talk about Quiet Place.
Okay, so
Oh
I
wait,
want
what
to
happened?
explain. I want to explain what we're gonna do a little bit for the movie slash TV universe. So we've been watching a lot of stuff, so we figured out that this week we just want to talk about things that we've seen so far and what are our thoughts of the movie or the show, etc. It's a little bit easier than just going into just talking about news and focusing on like one spotlight of the week when we've seen so many things. And the first thing that we actually saw
Check this out.
when it came out in theater
Check this out.
was nice. You know you're gonna have to do it for like each one, right? You can copy paste it, but then change the title of the film. I'm sorry.
I got myself into it.
You got myself excited, but yeah. Basically, when on May 28th, A Quiet Place Part 2 finally came out in theaters, and we actually went to a movie theater to see this movie with my parents.
Yes.
We went early in the morning, and it was a very unique and exciting because
there's so much anxiety in this one. Yeah,
exactly.
You got it. That's a good word. That's a good word to use, actually. Anxiety.
So, this film is the sequel to A Quiet Place, which was a film that was directed by John Krasinski, Jim from The Office.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a star alongside Emily Blunt. And he also directed this sequel, which was delayed due to the pandemic. And I got to say, the things that I think that this is a sequel that is very solid. I think it's a good sequel for A Quiet Place, even though it has certain things that I didn't necessarily like or I would have changed. I think that what makes this film interesting is that if you do have the chance to watch A Quiet Place, you will understand it a little bit more, rather than just going in and watching this film like just because. But it says it in the title, like it says A Quiet Place Part 2. So you have to be conscious that it is the second part to a film franchise, because it is confirmed that John Krasinski is going to work on a third film, which I'm very happy about, because I was left very intrigued in terms of what was going to happen with the characters. How is this monster situation going to be resolved, and how things were going to wrap up for this franchise. But I have to say that I love the direction in this film. I love the sound in this film. This is a movie that you guys have to see in theaters before it goes to Paramount Plus, because I really feel that the experience of seeing it at home is not going to be the same as when you see it in the theater. Like,
definitely not.
There were certain scenes that the sound was so perfect, mixed with the direction by Krasinski, and I loved it. I loved the feeling of anxiety and the feeling of silence as soon as this movie started to play. Like, everybody knew that they had to be quiet in the theater, and I love that this movie has that effect on people.
Oh my God.
I love that. And I have to say that I love the performances in this film. The performances they're flawless. They're flawless. I can't find any fault in any of the characters that you guys see on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the little kid. The little brother, there were certain parts in this film that he had me a little bit annoyed because of certain choices that he made. But I understood why it had to happen for a story purpose. You know?
But in this case, it's not about his performance. It's about how the writing led him to do that, because he performed it well. It was based off the direction and the writing of that scene in particular.
Yeah.
But like you said, it did have a purpose. It was just kind of annoying for the character at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also have to give it to Millicent Simmons. I think her performance in this film is outstanding. And I'm fascinated by the fact that we can see performances like this on screen. It made it such an interesting viewing and such a unique experience. because we saw it in the first one, but in this second film, her character is actually more of a main character instead of Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt takes a little bit of a back seat in this one. And her and Cillian Murphy, they team up, and their performances and their scenes are great. So I don't have bad things to say about this film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the aspect of like the anxiety and what you felt when you saw this film and the sense of urgency that everybody had. And I think that what John Krasinski did with his character, blending that in at the beginning to present Cillian Murphy's character later on, and how he works in this universe, was very well executed. So I love this film, but please go see it in theaters. It's not going to be the same if you see it at home or when it comes out on digital. Like,
yeah,
so see it.
And just before we continue, I just want to say, hey, ¿qué pasa?
¿Qué
Bonito.
pasa?
Wait a minute. Is that Tanjiro? The face?
I don't think. What?
That's from Demon Slayer. Is that his name? The protagonist, Tanjiro?
I don't know.
I forgot the name of the protagonist of Demon Slayer.
It's Tanjiro.
It's Tanjiro. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. And then Cinepera says they need to make a time jumps. The kid grows way too much between movies.
I noticed that. I noticed that with the brother, not the baby.
Exactly.
The brother, not the baby. Obviously,
the baby, of course.
I'm gonna let you.
Yes,
it is Tanjiro. I'm gonna let you talk because I forgot to put my internet, so it's telling me that the internet is slow. So.
Oh my God!
Alrighty then.
No,
it's okay. I'm just gonna. I'll come back.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll come back.
My turn. Okay. I exited myself, but anyway, in my personal opinion, in this movie to me delivered exactly what it needed to, and it was the same formula that it was in the first one. To be quite honest, I know the concerns that people had with the movie, and I understand them based off whether this is welcome back. Whether this is, I understand the concerns that people have with this movie, whether this is an actual part 2 or is a sequel. You know, it's a part 2 to the first one, so it actually is what it needed to be. This, you know, the direct sequel to A Quiet Place, the first part. So I get it. You know, there's an in between what a sequel is. Because a sequel could be, you know, like, just to bounce off what Cineper and Mag was saying, like a time jump. It could be any time, but this is a direct part 2, and it starts exactly right off when the first one ended. The only, you know, technicality is that it starts off literally with the past right before the actual invasion began. So we see John Krasinski at the beginning in a baseball game with his son. And then, you know, the events occur. And after we see the beginning, which is introducing us to the character of Cillian Murphy, which is a fantastic actor and a great character to be in this part. And I truly believed his pain and how serious. Cillian Murphy is an actor where it's hard he's underrated. And it's hard to see him as a good guy. So when you do see him as a good guy, it's impressive how he can portray being a good guy with that face of being mean and demeanor. Yeah. Just like he has the villain's face. He has the villain's face syndrome. Like this actor from the movie that we were watching on the plane, I forgot. From Mads
Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yes. Mads Mikkelsen. He has the bad guy face, but when he plays a good guy, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Like, he can play this. So it's actually pretty cool. And I think it's something that actors, Red Eye as well. Yeah. And John, have you John, have you that on HBO Max? They added all the movies like
I want to see.
Nun? The Conjuring, etc. Yes,
I want to see The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. That's the next one that we're gonna watch for sure.
I'm actually gonna go and jump into that, and I really want to see all the Conjuring movies because of the one that just came out. But yes, Johncito Bonito, I am actually gonna look for that. But as I was saying, you know, it's hard to see him as a good guy. So in this one, you know, when you get something fresh like that, it's really good. It's like a good meal. It's like, oh man, it hit me right on the spot. It's so good. So that's how I felt about Cillian Murphy in this movie. Like he was, you know, great. And the only thing that I was, you know, aside from what you said, the only thing that was, man, you know, it kept me like that because I still enjoyed it and I understood and I follow what the movie needs me to be as an audience. So, you know, it's pretty much quiet, suspense, see where it leads.
You need to have a lot of patience with this film. Like this film is a slow burner, but I think it pays off with the moments that they have, including the monsters and all the sequences. But it's a slow burner, but the performances are so good that I didn't even mind it.
Because the movie itself says to you, it's a quiet place. It's like deliberately telling you what you need to do. Be quiet. And when you're quiet and you really pay attention to the film, you slowly but surely will get submerged. Now, 9 times out of 10, most people do with this film. The other 10% didn't. I understand. It could be boring for them. To me, it wasn't. I like my video games. Like when I play, you know, suspense and horror games, I submerge myself. So I think that's a great trait. And I'm not to brag about myself, but I think that's a great trait to have. When you're watching a movie or playing a video game, if you really do submerge yourself into what the topic and what the movie, what the video game is, I think you'll have a better experience watching it. And I tend to separate myself as a critic and sometimes separate myself also as a fan of what I'm watching. But in reality, you know, there could be both. So people creating all these movies, it's special. And then this one in particular shows that this is something that was never done before, where it really makes you do exactly what the characters in the film are doing in order for you to believe and be part of the experience, because it makes you, it's like a VR experience without actually being VR. You have to be quiet in order for you to understand the pressure that this movie is bringing to your reality at that moment. Real quick, I just want to read something here. La pregunta de los 64 cachavitos. John, la cucaracha vuela en el cine también viendo esta. Mira, brother, I have no idea because no quiero saber tampoco. Now, that's the difference between los lagartijos y los cucarachas. If it's flying, I go, oh, pero yo la cojo, pa. Si es un lagartijo, yo go, oh, y pum, y arranco a correr. So, both. Así que es así. But just to finish off my opinion in this, I really enjoyed. I love that John Krasinski was back in the film, at least for that beginning, which was he was there enough because we understand that he died. He was there enough to, you know, introduce.
He served the purpose to introduce Emmett. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love the moment where he's just going to the guy that's praying, like, shut your mouth. Like everybody in the place was like, and he was like, huh?
And he goes like, a freaking cell phone goes on because God, like I can't.
Cell phones, I know. They don't exist in that place. Yay!
Another thing that I wanted to mention, I thought that the use of I don't know how to say his name, Digimon Honsu.
Oh yeah,
that was very disappointing to me because he literally played Man on the Island and he was used for like 2 seconds and then that was it. I really thought that he was gonna go back with Emmett and Regan to get back, you know, her mother and her 2 little brothers, but that didn't happen. He died in a snap.
Yeah,
so that was a bad use of that actor, in my opinion. But I
think his value as an actor was underused in that part. I think it could have been anyone else. It could have been me. If I was in that role, because I'm starting off as an actor, it would have worked fine. But when you pick someone like him for that role, and his name is just guy in Island in the IMDb is like, oh man. Like
Yeah.
it could have been somebody else, honestly. It could have been anybody, somebody coming up as an actor, or an old dude that, you know, it's coming up also as well as an actor. You know, it could have been anybody else. Like I have no quarrel with the part. Is that using that actor for that part? Like, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that was kind of like a letdown for that moment for me.
Yeah. And I love him in Blood Diamond. He did this film Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio, and that film is insane.
Yeah.
So.
And here I'm on that 10%. I watched it in the theaters, and for me, it was a letdown. Good film, but not as good as the first one. And yeah, and I completely understand. I completely understand where you're coming from, Mag. And I even saw your review of it, and I understood it. I understood exactly what you meant. That's why I can't. I mean, I'm never gonna do that until, like, oh, why didn't people didn't like it like this and like that? Because it's a mixed bag. It's such an unorthodox way of showing a film that has never been done before. To, you know, for everybody to be everybody's, you know, cookie and everything, and like you know, it's not for everybody. Hopefully it is in that case, because this is unique. But again, not to say that the first part wasn't that, but I get it. Like second part and then a third part, we'll see how it goes. But yeah.
I was gonna mention, I think that this is why I want to see the third part, because I think that this is like the middle, you know, like the bridge to get to one movie, to the first movie, all the way up until the end. And that's how this movie feels, even though it has great performances and it has great great sequences with the monsters and all of that. It still feels very inconclusive, and it still feels like there's a lot of questions yet to be answered. And I really think that if the third one is extremely good, like better than the first one and the second one put together, I think this would make for a great trilogy that you could watch like back to back, and everything will be like, you know, meshed up together, and you're just like, okay, I understand now that this is the first one, this is the bridge to get to this third one, and then the third one was like all the way up to here. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it could be the possibility. Yeah. But I completely understand like the whole it feeling like a letdown.
Manu, I was thinking, like, Josita Bonita, why do you come up with these comments when we're talking about something else? It's like, we've been
wanting to do like an Among Us stream, but we want to do it well. So that's gonna come at some point, cuando se pueda.
Some point, yes. And how quickly? I think there was a comment here. Agree. I love the kids' performance. And it follows this, and how quickly they manage the situations. To be honestly, I love the performance of the girl mostly, because, you know, the other kid was kind of how do you call this at the beginning?
Noah Jupe is the other actor.
Yeah, again, it's part of the story, but the kid learning a couple of things already as a survival aspect. You know, he already got his leg jammed. He was told by his mom, stay there, don't go anywhere. And he didn't listen.
The scene where he gets his leg jammed, for me, that was his best scene. That scene really...
It was so like, oh my goodness. And I can imagine, because it had to be so pure that someone was in Cine PR, we were watching, somebody was saying like, yo, the kid was screaming... The kid was screaming because his leg got pinned by a bear trap in his mother's face and his ear. And then when the monster in the freaking vault, like from gas and all that, actually jams her thigh, she goes like, ah! And she's like, don't scream in the beginning. And then he's like, whoa, ah! She's screaming in her face. But the point that somebody was trying to make is, yo, the monster was already there, so there was no point on actually holding back. And the monster was the one that actually jammed it, so they knew they were there. The mother was trying to keep them quiet so the monster wouldn't have found them at that point. But the monster, when the mother was screaming, he was already there. But it was just funny. Not only that, Digimon character completely breaks character in the end just because the script say so. That was also something that was like, wow, like that also broke. And I know what he means is when how cool, calm, and collected he was when he was, running and putting his children in the closet and leaving, because that was actually the only monster. There wasn't any other alien. It was that one. When the other monster was actually chasing them in the car and he was pulling them away, the monster already had left the small village, the town. So it was chasing them, and it was the only one in the island. So when the guy actually just goes like, turns around and I gotta look for my family. I'm like, bro, your family is safe. Your kid is safe because the monster is with you.
You're the one that's not safe.
Yeah, he's the one that's not safe. So how can you turn around like that? It didn't make sense to me. And I don't know if it was a mistake on the script or a mistake that they didn't catch up to it, or a technicality of I don't know what it was. But I agree with Mag here because it doesn't make sense. It was the only monster in the island. He was there with you guys in the shelter, in the radio station, actually. He wasn't anywhere close there. He was chasing you. He was close to the door. And he all of a sudden he said, I got to save my family. Your family is safe, bro, because the monster is with you. So I didn't get it when that happened. But yeah. And I believe it can be elevated in the third one if the third one is great. Yeah. This is the two towers. Yes.
Nice. I'm still missing one. ¿Cuál es la que me falta?
The Return of the King.
I'm still missing that one.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry. Yeah,
from
Anyway, any last thoughts before we jump into the next one?
Just give it a chance. Go see it in the theater.
Yeah,
just see it.
You'll enjoy
I think it's a good film.
Yeah. I think it is too. Anyway, hey, kill me.
Los perritos que no son de nosotros.
All right. Next film. Take it away, Ash.
The next film that we saw this week was Disney's Cruella. Ooh.
Cruella de Vil.
This one we saw it on Disney Plus, actually. And I was very surprised with this film. I was not expecting. I mean, it's Emma Stone. I love whatever Emma Stone does. And I was really excited to see this film because of Emma Stone, but I was really taken aback about how good this film is. I really want to say that it's in my top films of this year, if I'm completely honest, because I didn't find anything that bothered me in this film. The performances are insane. Emma Stone kills it in this film, but I have to say that Emma Thompson as the Baroness, she owns this film. She owns her character. And I think when you see this film, it's a very Cruella film. You know what I'm saying? It feels like it fits the character. And I have to say that another thing that I loved about this movie was the use of the music. Every scene has a song that goes with the moment that's happening or something related to what the character is going through. And it doesn't get tiresome. It doesn't get annoying. It matches it blends so perfectly. This is a very artistic film. And in terms of how the movie looks, in terms of the fashion elements, I was obsessed with everybody's wardrobe and the dresses that Estelle would design for the Baroness. And I really think it's a great origin story. I just heard that they are going to make a sequel. Disney is planning to make a sequel with Emma Stone coming back. And I was actually talking to Angelo from Cine PR, and we were discussing the fact of what might happen in the sequel and the possibility of Emma Thompson's character coming back in the sequel in some way, shape, or form would be very interesting. So I really like this film. I was very surprised at how much I loved it. So if you guys have the chance to actually go see this in theaters, I would say give it a chance in theaters. If not, it is available on Disney Plus. The only thing that I have a question, and I want to talk to you about it, because I think we talked about it, but and this is going to be a spoiler. So Mag, si estás por ahí y no lo has visto, I'm going to spoil something. I'm not going to spoil something, but I'm going to spoil something.
Okay.
It's the mid-credit scene where Anita gets the dogs,
Mm.
Roger. I'm kind of confused at how they're going to play that part in the sequel, because it makes it seem that it was her doing all this time, but then how does that mix in with the story that we know in the 101 Dalmatians, where this character is she wants to kill these dogs to make fur, fur coats, and use them for fashion. How does it mix in with that? Unless the only thing that I could think is that there is a possibility that it's gonna be like a reimagined story of the 101 Dalmatians with this new take on Cruella. Because another thing that I have to say is that yes, there's an animated film. Yes, Glenn Close did this character amazingly in the films, but this is the Cruella for this generation, and you can tell everybody apart in such a good way. But
Yes.
that's something that I want to talk to you about, because I thought it was interesting what they did there, how they dropped that little spoiler.
Spoiler.
Sí, yo lo dije.
Okay, I'm going to try and not spoil
Yeah.
with this at all. So what I think, not to just be more what do you call it, more detailed about the scene, I'm just gonna say overall that, in my opinion, I just came back. Oh,
Muy
nice.
bien,
Okay,
muy bien.
so in my opinion, for that scene in particular that Ash was talking about, I think there's a possibility that it could be a reimagining. It could be a reimagining because, nowadays there's so many social situations that Disney might have an agenda trying to change that part of the 101 Dalmatians, the 2 Dalmatians. But we haven't heard any word on Disney erasing the old movies because the first movie was animated.
Yeah.
Then they made it into live action, and then they made a second one live action.
Yeah.
A sequel. So I think there was a sequel also for the 102 Dalmatians. It was named weird.
It was animated as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's the same one, and then they made it into live action.
Yeah.
But based off of that scene, either it's a reimagining, or it's going to be the same thing, and then there's going to be a very well-developed story as to why she acts the way she acts on 101 Dalmatian. Because in this movie, for those who don't know, they actually explained very clearly who Cruella de Vil is and what her real name is and what happened to her and her backstory and all of it. All of it is explained. It's done very well. It's 2 hours and like 20 minutes movie.
And it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't drag.
Like an hour.
In my opinion,
like an hour film.
Yeah. It doesn't drag. And I remember there was one moment where Ash actually paused the movie and was like, "Oh man, why did you show me the time?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I was enjoying it too much.
So we got to talk about that, because that's one of the downfalls. Now that we started going back to theater, that's one of the downfalls of being at home. I really had to go to the bathroom, and I knew that I had the power to just pause it and go to the bathroom. Because if it wasn't in the theater, I was gonna miss it. Yeah,
that's that power. That's not a downfall.
But you don't have that. You don't have that in the theater.
But I know that's why it's not a downfall. It's a power. When you're
I'll
at
never
home.
forget. I always tell the story, but I'll never forget when I went to see Inception with my parents. I was so into the film, and I was so focused on like the dream levels and all that stuff. I had to pee so bad, and my mom was like, "Just go to the bathroom." And I'm like, "Are you insane? If I go to the bathroom and I miss a level of the dream, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be like, I don't get it.
I'm gonna start all over."
So Inception has been the only film where I basically almost peed my pants just to get everything right. But yeah, here I had the power to be like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom," and I paused it, and John was like, "Oh my God, you told me how much was left. I can't believe you."
Yes. And yes, Aldros. And what's up, Aldros? Correct. That's why when I go to the movies, I drink nothing before I go into the movies.
And
I make sure.
John literally went. Okay, so here, usually we get into the movie theater, and there's like 20 minutes of previews. and they turn off the lights and all that stuff. Right before the last preview, when they're saying like, welcome to blah, 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 to the theater, John is like, I'm going to go to the bathroom now. literally. Every movie that we go to, and he comes back in like 2 minutes. He comes back right before the movie is starting. Like when it turns dark and the logo of the company is gonna come up, John's like, "I'm here," and I'm just like,
"Yeah."
So he's a pro at that.
I mean, yes, I don't want to miss anything. So there's experiences that you need to go through in the movie theater, and then there's some that you can actually go at home and you still enjoy the same way. But overall, in Cruella Deville, great. Cruella. Great. Yeah, sorry. Great film. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the outfits. I enjoyed the performances so much. Really, the trio that they are, because there's a trio right there. It's Cruella and his two minions, and you'll see why it's minions in quotation. Yeah. You'll understand even more in this backstory. You'll understand when you watch the movie. Like I really want to talk about it, but because it's so recent, I'll let it slide. And trust me.
I mean, the thing about this film is that this film actually came out on the same day as A Quiet Place Part 2. But you know, people are gonna go see A Quiet Place Part 2 a little bit more than Cruella.
Well, you know what? You're right. So I'm going to talk about it.
That's why I was saying like I was saying like, hey, if you haven't seen it, spoiler, sorry, but I got to talk about this.
I'm just going to say this. The fact
I'm back, says Spider Bubble.
Hey, welcome back.
The
fact that this movie was able to pull a good, origin story, which is like they're doing, like you said with Maleficent, how they used the story of Maleficent wasn't actually always bad, and she had a reason for her, not evil. She had a reason for her vengeance, kind of. It was like revenge, but her heart wasn't pure evil. It was just hurt. It was hurt because of love. It was hurt because it was betrayed. Now, Cruella is kind of the same way. If you think about it, it's just without magic. Yeah. And her heart was like hurt. She was betrayed. She was lied to.
And she was
different. She was different. She was taken care of in a different way where, there was a scene, and I told Ash, there was a scene in particular where she's having this monologue alone. In a particular phrase, not just in a particular place, not to spoil this area, but she was having a monologue, and there was a particular line that I said, I didn't tell her, but I was thinking, and when she said it, I looked at Ash and I was, yes. But if she hadn't said that, the movie itself, the character would have died right there for me. And the character was like, oh, and you put this character in this position for this monologue. And I'm like, you better not screw it up, because then it won't make sense. And then and the funny thing is that when she was ending the monologue, that's when she said it. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Okay, she did it. Okay, this character is fantastic. All I needed was for her to say that part after like an hour and a half of this movie, almost 2. And it completed. I have to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And it proved to me that whatever was going to come after this point, I'm going to be satisfied. And I was. Yeah. And I was. Yeah. So it was great.
You're talking about that scene, the monologue scene, and
it's in a fountain, for those who don't know.
Oh, yeah. I have to say that I think it's the best scene in the film.
Yeah.
I think it's the best scene in the film. It's so beautifully acted. I loved Emma Stone in this film. I remember that I was talking to my dad, because my dad, he says that Emma Stone looks too nice to play Cruella, and I'm just like, bro, she's a great actress.
That's what I'm saying with people, and
she can pull off anything.
Man, I hope I can get to that opportunity to do both sides and one. But I mean, if I become that, but I hope that I can play both ends just like that, because that is the thing when you are labeled as something and you do something else and you surprise, that's when you're like, amazing. Just like I was saying with
Mads Mikkelsen.
No, I mean yes, but the other guy from Quiet Place.
Oh, Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. Just like I was saying with Cillian Murphy, like you've never seen Emma Stone be a bad guy like that, or not even really. For you need to watch that movie to know if she's really a bad guy or not. That's why I'm saying, like, if anybody has watched Maleficent, this will follow the line with Cruella. A little bit more psychotic, but it will.
I think it follows more the line of Maleficent 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I see.
Because you know, when Maleficent came out, a lot of people didn't like it, so they made a sequel to fix certain things. I think this film does it all in this first one. But exactly. I loved Emma Stone in this film. I thought she was incredible. Watching her act was very inspiring. Like I was like, oh my God, these are the type of performances and that, you know, when you see performances like this, you're like, this is why we love movies. This is why we love acting. We appreciate filmmaking. She was fantastic. But I have to say that Emma Thompson for me in this film is Emma Thompson. She is insane in this film. She is this bitchy character. Like, bitch is like a small word for me to say it because she's worse than that. But I really, like I said at the beginning, I think this is going to be one of my top films of 2021 because I have nothing bad to say. I didn't feel the length of this film. I understood the story. I thought, even though the mid-credit scene does leave you with like some questions as to what they're going to do next in the sequel that was already confirmed, I'm still intrigued to see this character come back and see if she either evolves into the Cruella that we know from the cartoons, I mean from the animation and the Glenn Close movies, or if this is going to be a separate Cruella. This is going to be this generation's Cruella, which I think it might be. So if you guys have the chance, check this movie out in theaters, support it, and it is also available on Disney Plus, but you have to pay the premium access, so that's $29.99 plus taxes, so that's going to be like around $30 to $32 if you want to check it out.
And just to close in my thoughts as well, I just want to say that Joel Fry as Jasper and Paul Walter Hauser as Horace, they were also great. I so much enjoyed their dynamic with Cruella as well. And Mark Strong, man, as John. Mark Strong was strong. Like, he wasn't in the entire movie, but when he was like...
thing, I thought he was going to be a villain because he played the villain in Sherlock Holmes, right? He played the bad guy. He played the bad guy in Sherlock Holmes.
When you see bad guys that people are...
this guy's going to be the bad guy. It's a good twist, honestamente.
Yeah,
it's a good twist. Yeah.
When you see people that actors that are usually playing bad guys as good guys, they surprise you. They surprise you, and that's the whole thing about it. And I think that's a great strategy if you think about it. It's a great strategy for an actor's career too. Hey, for a couple of years, play this good or bad guy, and then jump into being a good guy at one point, or a bad guy, wherever it is, the opposite of it. And then you just like nail it in the face where people are like, oh, he could do that. Nice. But yeah, Cine Perez is clavador on the price. Hey, man. Honestly, here's the fact.
Yeah.
Yes
Entiendo.
and no.
Yeah.
I would say yes and no. Yes, because it's $29.99 for one ticket that one person can pay. But no, because this movie came out also in theaters. So whoever didn't want to watch it in theaters and decided to watch it in their house and pay $29.99, where they could have paid $12, $15, it's on them. And if everybody wanted to watch it in a house, all they needed to do was $5 each of you, $10 each of you, $15 each of you. You watch it home.
Yeah, I wanted to see this one in theaters. I wanted to.
So to be quite honest, for people that say, "Oh, that's too much," that you can't complain anymore because the theaters are opened.
Sí.
The theaters are open.
Pero hay que ver también in the perspective from, porque yo sé que in Puerto Rico, I know that's $30 is expensive porque those prices don't exist over there. Allá todavía tú pagas 7 pesos por una taquilla. Y acá...
Pero eso es lo que quiero decir.
Acá el mínimo es, lo más temprano con descuento, $11 con 85 centavos, con 86 centavos.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you have the ability to go to the movies already, go watch it. I mean, watching it at home is a convenience that they're giving you. And the only reason why you could watch movies in your home to a certain degree was because of COVID. You know, and now things are changing going back to normal. Theaters have been open. You can go. And he says, I get you, but it's still too much.
Yeah.
I got you. You pretty much
mira, pero I understand where Mag's coming from, porque para mí, it has to be a movie that I really want to see. And I really wanted to see Cruella. Raja and the Last Dragon, we saw it on the airplane from Orlando to Jersey a las 3 de la mañana.
Yeah.
No, a las 12, 1 de la mañana.
Tacho, sí.
Y I saw it porque yo dije, pues está en el vuelo la voy a ver, pero
let's watch it.
Y
pero estaba...
everybody, sí, estaba bella. I was surprised with that film, but everybody was telling me, oh, you have to see Raya and Raya. Pero para mí, I was like, I don't feel like paying $30 to see this film, you know? Cruella, yo lo quería ver por Emma Stone, so that's why, Raya está demente.
Brutal. I love that movie.
Está bella. La vi en el avión.
Which is one of them that we would love to talk about, but it's just too many movies to talk about that because we watched it. So we'll probably talk about it next week. But okay, before we jump into that one, como quiera, acá sale más o menos lo mismo para 2 personas. $8 por 2 plus anything que se quieran munchar. Las personas salen en 30, cuidado, sí, más. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
acá si tú le añades popcorn y nacho y refresco, te sale como en 70 pesos. Es como ir a ver un teatro.
Like, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Disney is not stupid. Disney's not stupid. Like, they know exactly what. There's an analyzed strategy for them to put $29 on the streaming service for you to buy this film that just came out. And they're not going to lose their $50 million or $80 million worth of budget and giving it to you for free.
Everything is business.
Everything is business. And it's like I said, imagínate tú, you pay $29 to watch it at home with, let me say, somebody else, and you have the ability to pause it. That's like an extra $5. You have the ability to get up in the kitchen and make arroz con habichuela. That's like another $10 extra because you're doing that. Baja de la calle, te compro mantecado, it's like at $5 extra. You know, you could talk about it in the middle. So that's adding extra to the privilege of watching the movies at home. So when you go to the movies and you add, you know, the popcorn that's like $8, the beverage is like $4, the candy that's like $2 to $3, and that's individually. ¿Tú te imaginas that just like, you know?
Yeah, so that doesn't include if you decide to go to like IMAX or 3D, porque 3D, yo me acuerdo, mira, one of the worst mistakes that I did was going to see Tron in 3D. Somebody was like, oh, we have to go to see Tron, but you have to see it in 3D, que sé yo. I paid, I think, $40 to see that, and this was in Puerto Rico. And I didn't like that film. The first thing that it said once you sat down in the theater was like, oh, we know that this is a 3D format, but most of this film was filmed in 2D, so you're not gonna get it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that it said.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing. People can't be saying, oh, I'm going to pay $29 to have this movie forever. And then, oh, man, I'm going to just waste my money. What are you going to do when you go to the movies? You're doing the same thing. Yeah. Because if you end up liking the movie, you can watch it, like Metaverse said. You can watch it as many times as you want. But if you go to the theater, you only watch it once. So if you only watch it once in the theater and you paid $15 or $12 and you want to watch it again, that's another $12 to $15. Not adding on.
Que yo vi Mortal Kombat 3 veces, papo, en HBO?
¿Cómo tú crees que vimos Mortal Kombat? And it was free.
Una vez la vi en el cine.
and technically it was free because they didn't actually charge you extra for it.
I would still like to see it in the movie theater. Si te soy bien
honest. Yeah, but anyway, that's it for Cruella, and we got one last show to talk about, and this was a show that blew me away since the beginning.
Yeah,
and I freaking loved this show, and I want to. Is it okay if I start it off?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who don't know, the Kaminsky. Oh, seriously? You wanted to start it? Oh.
No, que Mac dice agree to disagree. Es como que válido.
Okay, no problem. The Kaminsky method. The Kaminsky method. We had never talked about this show live. Neither the first, second season. We're talking about the third season because now it's ended completely. There shouldn't be, there's not going to be, or nor there will ever be another season, and it's ended very well. For those who don't know, this is a show about a 75-year-old acting dramatic teacher, acting technique dramatic teacher, or something. Whichever one. Acting coach that lives in California, and it pretty much has a class of his own method acting, which his last name is Kaminsky, henceforth the Kaminsky method. From the first to second season, we see how this character's life develops, and you get to find out that he, at one point, probably till this point, but is kind of hidden in between, he's a frustrated actor inside. And because he couldn't get that big break, he turned into a coaching teacher, like acting coach. So from this point on, we see certain characters and actors like Alan Arkin, which plays Norman. What was his last name? I forgot his last name. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it. Norman Newlander. He is his best friend, and he's the agent of the most famous casting agency in Hollywood, one of them. So that's his partner and friend. And we see the entire trajectory, and it's so much fun how they get to do this dynamic duo. But then along the way, in the end of the second season, we see how Norman passes away. Spoiler. And the third season is pretty much dealing with how his best friend gets to deal with his passing and opportunities that come throughout his life, and pretty much after what everyone would say past their primes. Whether it is in acting, and just like a baseball player past their prime, they would normally say is like after his 30s, an actor. Honestly, there is pretty much no prime years in life. You get the chance, and this is what this show is so beautifully shown to us, is that an actor can have their break at any given point in their lives, whether they're like on their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. But this show shows it beautifully and what it is all about. But most of all, what's really important in life, which is, friendship, loves, relationships. But Michael Douglas' performance is very incredibly well done. It is my first time ever seeing him in a comedic role, honestly. I've never seen him in a comedic role. But it's basically, this show is like a drama comedy. A dramedy, that's how you call it, right? That's how people tend to call it. Dramedy? Yeah. It's pretty much a dramedy, and it's very well acted, very well done. But I'm just going to pass it on to Ash so that she continue giving her thoughts. But I really love the show. It has shown me a lot. And you know what? If I had to give this show a rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Probably a 10, actually.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Before, we have a couple of comments. So before...
Oh, Luismi no siguió. Espérate. ¡Wow!
Epa, Luismi. Eso era lo que me querías contar. Si les digo alguno.
¡Wow! ¡Wow!
No lo seguía. Soy el peor.
¡Wow! Luismi, ya tú está bien.
¡Wow!
Está bien, Luismi. Wow.
Wow,
No te preocupes, gracias.
No, pero gracias por el follow.
Yes,
Estamos
thank you,
aquí
mano.
hablando de cosas que hemos visto en la semana porque estábamos de vacaciones o estamos mira, Mag, Luismi, qué tierrita. No, pero thank you por el follow, de verdad, thank you.
Yeah.
Pero estamos aquí hablando de cosas que hemos visto esta semana y estamos en lo último que es The Kominsky Method, que es con Michael Douglas, que estrenaron la 3ª temporada. Pero ya, mejor tarde que nunca, exacto.
Exacto.
But I love the show. I don't usually watch shows like this with these types of characters, but there was something about the show from the first season that actually captured my attention. And the show is funny. I love the fact that it has comedy, but it tells you the truth within that comedy. In terms of not only life, but also in the acting world. Like this last season, they were talking a lot about all of the bullshit that happens in Hollywood and how people don't support each other as actors because you're each other's best friends, but then somebody gets a job and that person doesn't get a job and then everybody hates you because you booked that job.
Truth.
Or you get an agent and all that stuff.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so I've loved this show since season 1, and we've never. Every time it comes out on Netflix, we always binge watch it because it's a fairly easy show to watch. I would say that season 1 and season 2 are 8 episodes.
Correct.
And each episode can last from 25 to maybe 30, 40 minutes, depending on the episode. This season, though,
naturally it's like 30. That's like the average.
Yeah, but this season it was a really short season because it only has 6 episodes and each episode lasts 25 minutes, I want to say, except for the first one. I think the first one lasted around 42 minutes. And I really love this season. There are some things that happen, but I don't want to spoil it para mami, porque ella ve este programa también lo veía con nosotros cuando estaba por acá y cuando nos visita y
wow, sí. Right. Mano, man.
Sí, pero estrenó después que se fueron. Ya tú sabes.
Coño.
Yeah.
Mucha vienda.
Pero I don't want to spoil it for my mom or anybody that's here that is interested in the show. This 3rd season is the last one. It is confirmed. So the story wrapped up pretty well. The only thing that I want to say, sí, también estoy de acuerdo. It has a very good depiction of what starts to happen once you get old. And but it does it in a funny way. And it's not. There's like certain elements that are really tragic and really sad, and they make you cry. But they mix in the comedy comes in such a cool way that you start to laugh about it after you've been crying. The only thing that I want to say about this season, and I talked about this with John, the last episode for me feels very rushed. Even though it felt very rushed. I understood the message. I understood the purpose of the show, and I think it wraps up well. I just would have changed. What the hell? I'm just
gonna try it in the screen.
Espérate, o sea, no vengas porque.
Wow, se escuchó mejor, ¿oíste?
No vengas porque entonces mira, ahí está, y se haga la computadora. Eso es lo que pasa. ¡Bups! ¡Pupsi!
Ahí está.
Es que si algo no pasa, no soy yo. Pero,
exacto.
For me, volviendo al inglés, for me, the last episode feels very rushed, even though I understood the purpose of Michael Douglas's character, Sandy Kaminsky. I wish it could have been done a little bit differently. And it's certain things that happen in the episode that kind of make it feel rushed in terms of eso hagan un clip de eso. In terms of the events that they present in this last episode. But apart from that, I really enjoyed the season. The performances are great. and I really liked it. I really liked it, even though it was short. It was short but sweet, you know.
Yes.
So, but I can't say a lot because I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, and
Literally came out 2 days ago. So
I'll say this in general about the 3 seasons combined. I loved it a lot more because of the topics at hand that I could feel very um, familiar with. And this was the acting. Because again, it is about an acting coach, his method of life and what he teaches, his relationships, his friendships. And it actually shows you a side of, Hollywood or film or actors individual, or how anything can happen. How things breaks, anything in terms of movie films can actually go for you. And the hard work, especially in this last season, the hard work that you really need to, put in there. And when things go right for you, you were doing something right. You as long as you dedicate yourself, you put the method, you put the work in, and then you do the right work, you do the right research. And I'm not saying, because sometimes when we say don't give up on a dream, and we can be very selfish in saying, like, but you have no way because you don't have this ability or you don't have this tool. You can't get there if you don't get this. Sometimes it can be looked as you're being mean to that person's goal, or you're, not being very believable. I mean, believable in terms of how much conviction you have towards your dream. Because, not everybody is right next to you to understand how things go. But then sometimes you do need to wake up and to saying, okay, so this is not for me. But with good conscience, if you have people surrounding you that have the best, wanting the best for you and really want nothing but good things for you and take care of you, and they truly believe in you and will tell you the truth. That's what's very important.
yeah.
And this show also shows you that. So.
And I want to say also that this is my favorite performance from Michael Douglas, coming from somebody that has seen him, during the 80s when he did like Basic Instinct, and he did a movie with Glenn Close, and I always forget the name of that film. I mix it up.
I can look for it for you.
I think I got it. Let me see.
Oh, you got it?
I've seen him in Basic Instinct and, Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, which is like it's the sequel to Wall Street, which is another film that I've seen from him. But where is it? I don't wait. I got it.
Okay.
Basic Instinct. No, I don't got it. I don't remember, but it was a movie. If somebody knows in the comments and can let me know, I can't find it.
Okay. Continue. I'll look for it for you.
No, but this is coming from somebody that has seen him in Fatal Affair. Thank you. Gracias, mami.
Oh, Fatal Affair. There you go.
I always get that one mixed up with Basic Instinct because they came out at around the same time, and it's kind of same things but done differently. But coming from somebody that has seen him in movies in the 80s, thanks to my mom and my dad, I feel that even though he was great at the thriller type of films, this is his best performance by far. And I think he actually won an Emmy for his performance in the show.
Ironically, no spoilers.
No spoilers, pero. No spoilers, pero spoilers.
No spoilers,
But yeah, I love the show. I'm gonna miss it because it's one of those shows that you watch it, and then when you remember that it's back on, you're like, oh my god, the show is so good, because it feels like a genuine story and a genuine production. It's not flashy. It doesn't need like a big budget, and it still works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
for what it's trying to present.
It's exactly what it does. It catches you with performance, the acting, the story, the script. That's what's important. Now, you could see within the script, oh, there could be action and all that kind of stuff, and explosions and that. Yes, but conversation, stories, like something that we can feel connected to, correct. Something that we can feel connected to, whether you're an actor or not, whether you're, just life in general. This is something that actually really was fascinating to me, to watch a show like this and really wait for it. And we didn't even know it came back until I actually popped on Netflix, and we watched it the same day that it came back. We started watching it the same day that it came back.
And we finished it yesterday.
So it's like, it came out like 3 or 4 days ago and done.
Yeah.
We did it. La he visto como 5 veces y la vuelvo a ver.
Si estás hablando de Fatal Affair, yo creo que John no ha visto esa película ni Basic Instinct, y son John.
Basic Instincts es cuando la cual Sharon Stone opens up something y está como que,
pues sí,
y Michael Douglas está como que, what?
Sí, Michael Douglas he's the I think it's the cop who's I think he's a detective. I think he's a detective that he's investigating that case. Pero Fatal Affair está brutal. Like Glenn Close in that movie she's a psycho, bro. Like she's crazy. Pues please, dice mami, she's crazy. Like ella está loca en esa película.
Yeah,
so we gotta watch it.
But yeah, to end my opinion on the show is, it's honestly, for what it really represents and what it really is. I'm not on ratings, but I really love the show, and if I had to give a rating, it's like a 9 or a 10. If you combine all 3 seasons, honestly, it delivered exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah.
With nothing flashy, like you said, no explosions, no nothing. It was just what it needed to be.
Good characters, good performances, and I think it's very rare to see shows like that feel like very old school, like TV shows, like what we used to watch on like I don't know, WB or Fox or USA Network and all that stuff. So when you see these types of things brought back and really well done, you actually say, wow, I miss it. And I think this is something that they were talking about, funny enough, in the interview that I showed you with Ewan McGregor and Pedro Pascal, that they were talking about. Amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, it's Actors on Actors on Variety. Is that how you say it?
Variety. For the umpteenth time.
Variety. They were talking. So you have Ewan McGregor, who did the old Star Wars films, and it got to a point where he was. I mean, not the old, the prequels. I'm sorry.
The prequels.
But he did the prequels, and he was talking about his experience of shooting everything in a green screen, and then having Yoda being a puppet to then being digitalized, and he didn't feel that same connection. And then you have Pedro Pascal, who's filming The Mandalorian, but they're using like a set that just changes background, and Ewan McGregor was telling Pedro Pascal that it reminded him of like the old school Hollywood, that every station was set for the actor. They just had to go in and change, and then they would record
and change studios.
Yeah. So the Kaminsky method feels very much like that situation that they were talking about.
But he said that he's back into that. Like he's now being used, the technology that is being used in the Kenobi show, which he's filming currently, is using the technology of the Mandalorian. So he's now feeling more in tune with his character, with his surrounding. And then he geeked out when he actually saw stormtroopers from one scene, because when he filmed the movies, he only was filming with clones, not stormtroopers. And there was at one point that even the clones started getting digitalized. And I was like, wow. So when he saw the stormtroopers he had never filmed with, he said he got goosebumps. He was getting like an anxiety attack of excitement. And he said, he was like, oh my God.
It's a great interview. If you guys can check it out, it's on YouTube.
Yes, it's 32 great. Minutes. Worth the watch. You will not waste your time watching.
And he talks about Houston, which is another show that I have. That's one of the next shows that I want to see.
Fatal Attraction para el 1987.
Sí.
Fatal Attraction.
Sí, in the
there 80s. You go.
That's when Michael Douglas was he had his boom there. Like he was a huge star. So
yeah. But yeah, that's how I finalized my thoughts. Anything else?
go check it out. It's on Netflix. 6 episodes, 25 minutes each. It's a breeze, but recommendation if you haven't seen seasons 1 and 2, see that before you see this 3rd season, obviously, because there's a lot of things that happen in the season that you might not understand. So.
Yeah, honestly, and you'll binge watch it.
Yeah,
it's gone in a week. It is not.
Show.
Yeah, trust me, you guys will enjoy it.
I will miss it.
Yeah, that's pretty much about it. What we got right now is just a small throw it into the universe. If there's anything you guys would love to throw into the universe, chime in. If not, that's okay. But something that I really wanted to introduce and throw out there is that, and it's something personal, you know, COVID was a year of good things and bad things. I think now that 2000, I don't know, I don't think 2020 now it's kind of like, oh, it's 2020. No, COVID year. It's like,
yeah,
COVID year was
2020 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No.
That year was a combination of great things and bad things because it also, you know, made a lot of companies realize what was really important and the way they do their business. Now, for us, it was a year of, you know, reimagining, and it held a lot of things, you know, that we had in mind to do, but particularly me. I hope this is one year where whatever we do, we were able to accomplish that, just like everyone. And I hope that whatever got put on hold from you guys last year, you have the ability to, you know, achieve it, get to it this year and the years to come. It's very important not to, you know, lose sight of what you really want, and what is also really important in your life. But working hard for what you want is very important because nothing gets handed in a silver platter unless you're born in a golden crib or a silver crib. That happens the majority of the time in these kind of things. But when you're coming from the ground up, all it takes is one opportunity. Trust me, I know. And that's all we ever ask for. Like that one chance, that one opportunity, that one, you know, silver lining. But without hard work, it'll never come by, because there's a moment where you need to be the person that they can count on. You need to be reliable, and they need to know that, because word of mouth, anybody can say it. Actions actually, you know, are the essence of who you are. You can think 1,000 things per minute, but the one that actually gets projected in your physical being is the one that they'll see of who you really are. Because it's not what you think, it's not what you're thinking or anything. Who you really are is who you want to be. And if you want to be somebody good with moral values, you know, whatever it is, that's who you are. That's who you want to be, because the brain is so powerful that like 1,000 thoughts cross it. But you pick the ones that you want to retain. You pick the ones that you want to show. You pick the ones that you want to be. And throwing it into the universe right there, that I hope that whatever we do, whatever you guys do in your lives, you know, happens. And it's very important to keep that close to your heart, and keep in mind those that are most important to you and why you're doing what you're doing. So, yeah.
Yes. Clap, clap.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I kind of have one, pero no me atrevo. I don't want to say it after all the things that you said, because it's not related at all.
It's fine. It's complete. This is throw it into the universe. Just throw anything you want. I just threw that out there. Good vibes for everybody. Throw it into the universe. I
just want to throw into the universe that I hope the Mandalorian season 3 is okay, because I got a weird vibe. I've seen a couple of interviews lately, and I just got a weird vibe. I feel like things are not good over there, so I'm throwing it into the universe. Que everything is okay. It's all true, but you almost make me cry. ¿Viste? Y yo vengo a dañarlo con Mandalorian.
Sorry, man.
Ya te fuiste en un viaje. No, no,
Okay.
no. Pero Popo doesn't like to cry.
Yeah. No.
I saw that too.
Sorry, but
So,
you know,
those son
yeah.
buenos deseos, de verdad.
Mm-hmm.
De que it comes from the heart of the legacy universe. So, la cosa no tan
Yeah.
fácil.
Las cosas no tan fáciles. You know, there's people out there, even some of you in the chat or whoever's watching, that aspire to be something greater. And you know, you want that moment of an opportunity.
We all can be, mano, es como, how do I say this? We all have so much to give. We all have such potential to do anything that we want to, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes it gets overwhelming. But if you surround yourself with good people, and if your family is very supportive of you and backs you up like at 100%, and they believe in you, like I believe that we do have the potential to do anything, de verdad. Es que a veces es como tú dices, like everybody goes through the same, como es lo que tú dices, your quote.
Oh yeah. Everybody goes through the same title in life, but never the same story.
Never the same story.
By John Rosado, literally.
Yeah. So
book that down since I was like 11
feel
years
that,
old.
I feel that quote of yours is the one that depicts how life can be. Okay, we all have different situations. It really depends on what you decide to do with either the negative or the positive situation that you have in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose, if it's negative, you can choose to fall and not rise up from it, or you can choose to rise up from it and learn from whatever mistake is happening or whatever is happening in your life and be better. And if it's positive, then you can choose to either do something good with it or something even better, or do something that's not very good that'll lead to other things down the road. So no es para ponernos sentimental, pero ya tú sabes, aquí estamos. This is why we wanted to do a different format of this podcast, like just talk about whatever comes up, aparte de all the things that we've seen throughout this week. So
yeah, that's why throw it into the universe to me is very important, because it brings this, it brings this to it brings the conversation of what we as human beings desire and what we feel in our hearts that's very important and we want to achieve. We throw it into the universe, but the reason why we throw it into the universe is because we're working. We want it, we desire it, but we're working for it. And the universe will not answer you giving you something really negative, because the truth of the matter is, and the reality is, we do have control of everything we do. We don't have control of everyone else. So it only takes one person to actually want to look at your resume or at your picture, or see you down and talk to you, to actually change your life. And that is on anyone else. On you is your work, your hard work, your determination, what you do with your life. That is on you. Now, whoever wants to give you the opportunity, that's on them. Like any other job. You apply for something, you did your part, you applied for it. You make sure that you are presentable. You make sure you dress well. You make sure you are, polite and appropriate for the situation. And then you did your part. Now it's up to them to hire you and to be convinced of who you presented. But if you're going to go in to look for a job and you're smelly, your pants all the way on the ground, and you're going for a freaking retail job, or, it's not going to work. That's not how it works. So you throw into the universe what you want, but you also have to give something to the universe so that it can give back. It's like a battery. There's a negative side and a positive side, and both sides just make this powerful thing that can power up a controller, a TV, anything, a power plant. It doesn't matter. You have to give something for you to get something back. And it's not about expecting anything in return. That's another thing. Don't expect anything in return. Do your due diligence. Don't be selfish. Be the one to put the good things out there without expecting anything in return. And if it is your time and if it's you, the one that deserve this, it will come to you. But you can't be selfish enough and negligent to the fact that you've done all you can, but in reality, you've only done out of 100, 40% of the task. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
and this is why you should watch the Kaminsky Method. Thank you for coming.
Yes. Yeah. So really with that, we're going to end the show, guys, the podcast pretty much. Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate this. And you know what? I really want to put this in an audio if we can. Yeah. I don't know where we're going to put it, but it's an audio. It's really good. And I think
there's a comment here. My mom says, el universo toma todo lo que tu pensamiento quiere y lo utiliza para llevarte al próximo nivel. Los bendigo para adelante. Amén.
Amén. Yeah.
Bendiciones para ti, para todo el mundo y para todos los que están aquí en el chat. De verdad que you guys are amazing. So
much blessings. And thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. All love. Stay tuned to Friday.
Well, Friday we're gonna have the PRCC reload. We're gonna be live from the Twitch and official Twitch and Facebook of the Puerto Rico Comic Con. Ahí vamos a estar hablando de noticias de la semana de entretenimiento en español. We're gonna do that in Spanish, so entertainment news of the week. And after reload, we are gonna be here on our Twitch channel playing some Cuphead because we haven't played in a while. So that's going to be fun. And then on Sunday, we're going to publish the schedule for next week. And speaking of the next week, since we're talking about things that we've watched, next week we are actually going to talk about Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple and Samurai X, which Kenichi was redeemed by Bipolet and Samurai X was redeemed by Metaverse PR. And we're going to talk about other things that we've seen in the week, any random topics that, comes up that we want to talk about. And if you're interested, you can also follow us here on Twitch, obviously. If not, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter under the Legacy Universe for some awesome updates and some really fun content. So anything else? No, that is all.
Nope.
Thank you for joining us, guys. I think I'm going to throw a raid.
Oh, okay.
Lo voy a enviar para donde está Luismi. He's playing Apex right now, Apex Legends.
Of course.
So, yeah. So, you guys can go over there and say hello to Luismi. He makes good content, so please say hello, give a follow if you like his content. You can also subscribe. Y that's going to be all, guys. We will see you next week. Y ya, nos vemos por ahí. Te veo. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.